Hey, I want to take a moment and show you a tool that we use internally at Scott Technology Group, but it might be beneficial to you. This is called BLIQ. It's by Buyers Lab, and this is a third-party testing laboratory. So these guys are not owned by any of the equipment manufacturers. They actually will test equipment independently. They'll see how it stacks up against other equipment. They'll issue awards. But one of the coolest tools that we have here is a comparison. And a lot of times when we're looking at product for a customer, we might do a comparison to see how one stacks up against another. I'm going to use a Canon 527 IF as an example. So let's go ahead and choose that. And another product that we recently started offering is the Brother Workhorse series, and they have the 6900 DWX. So we can hit compare, and this is really cool because this is a third-party website that will independently compare the specs on these two machines. I do like to pull up, if there's an award, it'll show it here. And so this one won the Winter 2021 Pick Award. They liked this machine last year. So that could be interesting to take a look at. This means that it's a highly recommended machine. And so what we'll do is we'll go down and we'll compare specs. So you can see right off the bat that these are very similar in speed. This is 55, this is 52. But what we can see as we scroll down is where the differences are. So actually the Canon has a little bit faster first copy out time, often not a big deal. The Brother has a faster warm-up time, and we're talking seconds. Both of these have a single pass feeder. So what that means is as the document is scanned through for scanning or copying, it's actually scanning both sides of the page in a single pass. So that actually increases the scan speed or copy speed because it doesn't have to flip the page over and rescan it if you have a two-sided document. So that actually is pretty cool, and it's available on both of these smaller devices. Honestly, we're seeing that more and more as a standard. We do see that the Canon has a 100 sheet original capacity, which is nice. Brother has an 80 sheet, which is also a pretty good size for a machine, but the Canon just has a little bit more. And for comparison, the bigger machines, like for instance, the larger Canon A3 devices, those will have a 200 sheet capacity. So you could put a stack of 200 documents in that feeder to scan or copy them. It shows your paper weights, pretty comparable. The Canon can handle a little bit heavier paper. The output capacity is a little bit more. That just means that this output tray up here can handle more than this smaller cavity there, but usually not a big deal. As we scroll down here, you'll see differences. There's a whole bunch of information here for your IT team. There's a little bit larger touchscreen on the Canon. This will give us our energy efficiency. There's the supplies section. It'll show you actually how much the cartridge will yield. So the Canon has a 51,000 page cartridge, whereas the Brother comes with a 20,000 page cartridge. It does show you what kind of mobile print support it has. You've got AirPrint on both, which is nice. Scan speeds, a little bit more resolution on the Brother, but when we're talking about scanning business documents, you're never going to be using either of these machines for high quality graphics. This was a big difference I noticed. 50 images per minute color, 50 images per minute black. So that's single side documents. When you do double side, it goes up to 100 color, 100 black, because it's scanning both sides in the same pass. With the Brother, we see that it actually slows down for color. So 20 for color, 50 for black. Or if you're doing double-sided, it's 34 for color and 100 for black. So obviously the processor is causing this machine to slow down a little bit when it's scanning color documents. So something to keep in mind, if you're scanning more color, the Canon probably has a little bit better processing power. Going back up to the security area. So the Canon has standard hard drive overwrite. That means that it overwrites the hard drive with random ones and zeros to erase any latent images so that there's no risk of any past scan or copy jobs being extracted by hackers. The Canon has some security features that maybe the Brother doesn't. So a comparison tool like this can be incredibly helpful. There are products in here, if I were to type in Sharp, right? I've got just a whole plethora of Sharp machines. If I want to look up a Toshiba, if I want to look up Kyocera, let's do BizHub. And then we've got all these BizHub machines in here. So I just have the ability to pull up all these different machines and hit compare, and I can look at them side by side. If you're considering a machine and you're not sure how it stacks up against what you have currently, or you're not sure how it stacks up against its other contemporary competitors, and you'd like to look at it from a third-party testing laboratory, reach out to us. I'd be happy to put together a comparison for you, and you can see, does my Kyocera, does my Konica match up to this new quote? How does this quote from your competitor look? So I'll be happy to give you this information. This is something that we provide for free.